Okay, so today I'm going to be explaining predator warning signals, and again, this is Deema, and yeah, this is one of the AP Bio topics for 8.1. So let's explain the obvious here. What exactly are these warning signals? In ecosystems, there's obviously prey and predator relationships in which the prey are going to try and escape from the predators who want to eat them. So predator warning signals are like red flags being waved in the air by an organism, warning nearby colonies and um, animals of the same species of incoming danger. So you could think of it like even us humans have our own warning signals, like us screaming fire whenever we see a fire going on to warn other people to like run away or find shelter or seek protection. So these warning signals are used by a wide variety of animals, from honeybees to crocodiles. And I included this photo because it's kind of similar to what we're talking about. Like, we get flood warnings because the government is trying to tell us stay clear and protect yourselves from what can happen. So how does this connect to the essential knowledge? So the IST says explain how the behavioral responses of organisms affect their overall fitness and contribute to the success of the population. So through predator warning signals such as auditory, visual, or chemical signals, which is what I'll talk about, animals are able to warn each other of the presence of any predators, and they're crucial to the fitness and success of the population because the animals will adopt adaptive behaviors and to ensure the survival of the organisms. And the second part says cooperative behavior tends to increase the fitness of the individual and the whole population. So basically, warning signals are also a prime example of how cooperative behavior increases fitness, because one organism warns an entire population of the same species of incoming threats, and the whole population will benefit and is more likely to survive due to the cooperative behavior of that initial organism that warned everyone. So organisms who sense a signal or alarm or hear it have an advantage over the ones who didn't, and fitness increases because less organisms are likely to die from predators when they get a warning, and these individuals have more opportunities to make offspring and pass on their genes and traits since they're more likely to live longer and have offspring. So I'm going to go over 3 different types of warning signals. There's obviously more, but these are the main 3. So chemical is probably the most interesting one. So a lot of species rely on alarm pheromones as their warning signal. So pheromones are secreted chemicals that usually come from the skin, feces, or urine of an organism, and they're produced in the glands, which is a crucial part of the endocrine system in an organism. And the pheromones are usually made of lightweight, highly volatile compounds that can spread through a colony quickly and cease when danger is gone. So these pheromones are going to be dropped on the ground, and then when nearby organisms sense them or smell them, they're able to detect that danger is happening. And then since they're highly volatile, that means that they can evaporate quickly. So the second that the threat is gone, the pheromones will just disappear. So one key example is fire ants. So pheromones of each species vary widely, and in most cases, each colony even has its own pheromone. So fire ants rely on solenopsin, which is made from the venom glands in the abdomen of an ant, and they leave trails on the ground for other ants to smell and see. And then the neighboring ants sense the solenopsin, and you tend to organize a group of defensive forces. So in this case, the reaction, some animals will hide, some of them will flee, some of them will attack. And in this case, they will attack. They're going to organize a group of defensive forces, and they're going to swarm together, find the threat, and sting aggressively. And another interesting fact is that squashed ants also release multiple pheromones. So nearby ants will sense the squashed ant, and they'll know from the pheromones, like, we're in big trouble and there's a lot of danger because one of the ants had died. Okay, now to auditory. So many primates and birds use alarm calls to, I just realized there's 2 ants, I'm sorry. But many primates and birds use alarm calls to warn organisms of approaching predators. So animals can tell which specific individual is the one making the alarm call, which is kind of cool. And calls tend to be of higher frequency due to localization, which means that when it's a really high frequency, it's really obvious where the call is coming from, whereas like a lower frequency call will be harder to pinpoint the exact location from where the organism is making the call or animal. And after hearing the call, behaviors such as freezing, fleeing, or mobbing the predator usually occur. So one really unique animal is the vervet monkey, and they're infamous for their very wide variety of alarm calls. They have distinct alarm calls for their three common types of predators. So the first predator is an eagle alarm call in which they make short grunts, and in response, the monkeys will run into thick vegetation and just hide, so they're not in view of the eagles. The leopard alarm call includes like a series of barking sounds, and it tends to sound like a loud cough. And for the leopards, the monkeys will climb high up onto the thinnest branches of trees, and that'll make it like incredibly hard for a leopard to come and try to eat them. And then the final one is a snake alarm call, which they make a chattering sound, which is kind of interesting because we say that snakes also make the chattering sound. And they make, instead of like hiding away or climbing up a tree like the leopards or eagles, they'll instead try to intimidate the snake, and they'll make eye contact with it and still maintain a safe distance, but they'll basically try to intimidate it from attacking them. And then finally is the visual. And the visual warning signal tends to be the weakest because it's obvious to spot, and predators are going to be able to tell what's happening, and it's less secretive compared to the other tactics. So again, once an animal detects a predator, they'll show a visual signal to the nearby community to warn them. And common visuals include changes in posture, specific movements, and unique color displays, which can be seen with the frog. And basically what's cool about the frog's changing color is that it basically kills two birds with one stone. Because when they change color like this, it'll also show the predator, hey, I'm poisonous, so don't approach me. So it'll scare the predator, and it'll show the neighboring frogs that the predator is still around. And basically this can trigger a lot of the frogs to change color. And specific examples include tail flagging, which is done by deer, stotting by gazelles, which is basically the gazelles will start jumping really high up and down, and then bright colors, which can be seen in salamanders, similar to the frogs. And again, this triggers the same reactions as the other signals, so they'll either flee, they'll hide, or they'll swarm together and try to attack. But usually they tend to hide, especially with the weaker organisms. So these are meerkats looking for snakes. Meerkats will stand on their hind legs and peer over the grass, and basically when they see one meerkat doing this, they'll all start doing it and look for the same predator, so they're warned by just one meerkat. And then I included this source. It's a really cool article from Khan Academy, and it explains all the different types of animal communication, including warning signals and almost like trying to scare the predator away. So I added that one. And yeah, thank you.